Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Karuna teaching the course Computer Architecture and Organization. In this video, we are concentrating on cache memory. Let us see how cache memory can be used to access the information quickly by the processor than the main memory. Fifth unit contains the following topics, out of which we are discussing about cache memories and mapping functions. Introduction. The speed of the main memory is very low than the speed of the processor. Okay, so for good performance, the processor cannot spend much of its time waiting to access instructions and data in main memory. Hence, it is important to reduce the time required to access the necessary information. Okay, so to achieve this, fast cache memory can be used. It is an architectural arrangement which makes the main memory appear faster to the processor than it really is. The effectiveness of the cache memory is based on the property of computer programs known as locality of reference. Let us see what is meant by locality of reference. Many instructions in localized areas of a program are executed repeatedly during some time period, and the remainder of program is accessed relatively infrequently. This is called as locality of reference, or we can say sometimes processor needs to spend much of its time on execution of routines repeatedly. Routine nothing but simple loop or nested loop or procedures that repeatedly call each other. There are two kinds of locality of references. One is temporal, another one is spatial locality of reference. Temporal locality of reference means recently executed instruction is likely to be executed again very soon. Spatial locality of reference, nothing but instructions with addresses close proximity to a recently instruction are likely to be executed soon. Let us see the arrangement of processor, cache memory, main memory. So, when processor issues a read request, a block of words transferred from the main memory to the cache memory at a time. Okay, consequently, when the program references any one of the locations in this block, the desired contents are read directly from the cache. Or we can say, suppose processor wants to execute set of instructions repeatedly. So processor needs to spend much time to execute that routine, or we can say set of instructions repeatedly by accessing the main memory. It is time taking. Okay, so to reduce that, here cache is placed nearer to the processor. That's what processor can access any information from the cache quickly than the main memory. Whenever processor needs to spend much of its time on routine executed, which is executed repeatedly, that can be copied from the main memory to cache memory, so that processor can access those kind of set of instructions from cache memory quickly, so that execution time of that instructions which are to be executed repeatedly may be reduced, because processor can access the information from the cache quickly than the main memory, so that the execution time can be reduced. Automatically the system performance can be improved. Now let us see the correspondence between the main memory blocks and those in the cache is specified by a mapping function. Okay, here the cache memory is smaller than the main memory. Whatever the required instructions which are to be executed repeatedly, those can be copied from the main memory and placed in cache memory so that processor can access those set of instructions quickly. Okay, so if the cache is full, a block of words needs to be transferred from the main memory. Some block of words in cache must be replaced. This is determined by a replacement algorithm. Suppose processor sends the read request signal to the cache memory for reading the required data or instructional code from the memory. Okay, if the required data is present in the cache, it is called as read hit or write hit. Okay, so read hit, with the time of read operation, read hit occurred when the data is present in the cache. Okay, so that data is obtained from the cache when read hit is occurred. Okay, at the time of write hit, during write operation, content of the cache and the main memory may be updated simultaneously with the help of write through protocol. Sometimes cache may be updated and mark it as updated by a flag bit, that is known as dirty bit or modified bit. Later, main memory may be updated. The contents of the main memory are updated when this block is replaced. This is called write back or copy back protocol. So these are the important points you have to note down. Next, so here some hardware circuit is used to determine whether the data is present in the cache or not. Okay, so if the data is present in the cache, that is nothing but read or write hit. If the data is not present in the cache, then that we can call it as read miss or write miss occurs. Okay, when the time of read miss or whatever the required data is not available in the cache, then let us see what processor needs to do. Block of words containing this requested word is transferred from the main memory. Okay, after the block is transferred from the main memory to cache memory, the desired word is forwarded to the processor. Okay, so the desired word may also be forwarded to the processor as soon as it is transferred without waiting for the entire block to be transferred. This is called load through or early restart. Okay, let us see. Coming to the write miss, that means the data is not written into the cache. Okay, nothing but write miss. Okay, so here with the help of write through protocol, the contents of the main memory are updated directly. If write back protocol is used, the block containing the addressed word is first brought into the cache. The desired word is overwritten with the new information. So let us see how the correspondence between main memory block and those into the cache memory is specified by the mapping functions, or we can say mapping functions determine how memory blocks are placed in the cache. Let us take one example. Cache consisting of 128 blocks. Okay, each block consists 16 memory locations. That means each memory location stores one word. Okay, so the total size of cache is 2048 locations, means that can store 2048 words, because 128 into 16 will get 2048. We can say 2k memory. Okay, 2k byte memory. Okay, so main memory is addressable by a 16-bit address. Okay, 16 address lines. Memory is determined with the help of addressing lines. Okay, 2 power 16 equal to 64 KB. Okay, so the main memory has 64 KB, kilobyte, byte nothing but 8 bits. Okay, so here that means each memory location store byte of data or word, we can say. So main memory has 64K words, or we can say main memory consists 64 kilo memory location. Each location store one word. Okay, here we call it as a word. Okay, or we can say data. Okay, main memory has 4K blocks of 16 words each. Okay, so here entire 64 KB divided into 4K blocks. Okay, so each block consists 16 memory locations. Okay, we will see in detail in all these mapping techniques. There are three mapping functions. Those are direct mapping, associative mapping, and set associative mapping. Let us see how mapping takes place between main memory and cache memory. Okay, first let us discuss about direct mapping. See, here we have taken example main memory. This is the main memory and this is the cache memory. Main memory may be external part of the processor. Cache memory is placed nearer to the processor. Okay, so here whenever processor wants to execute some routines repeatedly, those kind of instructional codes are to be transferred from main memory to cache memory so that processor can access the required instructional codes or data, whatever it may be, can be accessed quickly. Okay, so here cache memory size is very smaller than the main memory size. Okay, so here main memory size is 64 KB. All this main memory divided into blocks. Okay, block 0, block 1 and so on, block 4095. Okay, each block consists 16 memory locations. Means each block stores 16 words or 16 data. Coming to the cache memory size is 128 blocks it can accommodate. Okay, 0 to 127, nothing but 128 blocks into 16 words. Each block consists 16 words. Okay, so 128 into 16 is equal to 2K. Okay, cache memory size is 2K, main memory size is 64K. Okay, we can say the size of cache memory is less than the size of main memory. Okay, so now processor needs to copy whatever the required instructions are to be executed repeatedly from the main memory to cache memory. Okay, so whenever processor sends the read signal to the main memory, then main memory transferred the required data or instructional code from the main memory to cache memory. Okay, now processor can access the required data quickly. Okay, then the processor performance can be improved. Okay, let us see. This main memory contains 4096 blocks. Okay, again all blocks are divided into, here in this direct mapping technique, all blocks are divided into, see, this is one group and this is another group. Okay, so this group is assigned to tag 0. Okay, this group is assigned to tag 1. Okay, and so on, tag 2. Okay, so like that entire blocks are divided into 32 groups. Okay, so each group is assigned with some tag. Okay, tag 0, tag 1, tag 2, like that. Okay, so here from this first group, block 0 is transferred to the space of block 0 of cache memory. Okay, so this block 0 is stored into the block 0 space of the cache memory. Okay, next block 127 is stored in block 127 space of the cache memory. Okay, next coming to the next group, block 128 will be stored in block 0, and then block 255 will be stored in block 127. Okay, like that. Next, 256, block 256 will be stored in place of block 0 of cache memory, and so on. Okay, now let us see how processor can access the required information from the cache memory. Okay, so first processor sends the read request signal to the cache memory, then sends the address of the required data to the cache memory. Okay, so these are the main memory address bits. Here main memory contains 64K, that means 2 power 16. Okay, 16 address lines are required to access 64K words. Okay, so that's what here, these are the main memory address bits. Okay, see, 5 plus 7 plus 4, total address bits are 16. Okay, so here out these 16 address bits are divided into 3 fields. First field is word field, block field, and tag field. Okay, so word field consists 4 bits. Okay, so 4 bits. So whenever this address is transferred from the processor to the cache memory, here some comparator circuit is present. That circuit compares the assigned bits with the address bits. Okay, so word consists 4 bits. See, lower order 4 bits determine one of the 16 words in a block. Okay, so for example, this word consists all 4 zeros. Okay, 4 bits are used to determine the memory locations. 2 power 4 equal to 16 memory locations. Okay, so block 0 contains 16 memory locations. Suppose word consists all 4 zeros. That means first memory, 0th memory location of block 0 is selected. Next, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, that means first memory location of block 0 will be selected. Okay, so here these 4 bits are used to determine the memory location of the block. Okay, because block contains 16 memory locations. Next, block is here 7 bits are block field bits. Okay, these 7 bits are used to determine the block number. Okay, so 2 power 7, nothing but 128 blocks. Okay, so suppose all bits are 0, 0, 0, block 0 will be selected. Suppose all 7 bits are 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, that means block 127 will be selected. Like that, blocks are selected with the help of this block bits. Okay, now coming to the tag bits. Okay, here we already discussed about tag 0, tag 1, tag 2. Okay, so with the help of these tag bits, okay, we can find this block belongs to which group. Okay, so likewise higher order 5 bits determine which of the possible 32 blocks is currently present in the cache. Okay, so these are the tag bits. Entire blocks are divided into 32 groups. Okay, so these tag bits are used to identify the group. Okay, so likewise, data can be accessed from the cache memory with the help of main memory address bits. Okay, it is simple to implement but not very flexible, because block 0 of main memory should occupy block 0 of cache memory only. Block 127 of main memory should occupy block 127 of cache memory. Okay, so that's what this we can say, this is not flexible. Okay, let us go for another mapping technique, that is known as associative mapping technique. Okay, this is main memory. Okay, so contains block 0 to block 4095. Each block consists 16 memory locations. Okay, so next, cache memory size is 2k, same. Okay, so it can accommodate block 0 to block 127. Okay, so here let us see in this mapping technique, here any set of 127 blocks can be stored into cache from the main memory. Okay, so that's what here, those block of words can be accessed by the processor from the cache memory with the help of main memory address lines. Okay, so each block is assigned to tag. For example, this is tag 0. This block is assigned to tag 1. Okay, so this block is assigned to tag 127. Okay, like that, each and every block is assigned to tags. Okay, so here block 0 to block 4095 tags are required to assign each block. Okay, so here tag bits are used to identify the block. Let us see how processor can access the data from the cache memory with the help of these tag bits. Okay, so here entire 16 address lines, okay, are divided into two fields. Those are tag bits and word bits. Already you know word bits are used to access the memory location in that particular or required block. Okay, 4 bits are used to access 16 memory locations. Each block consists of 16 memory locations. With the help of these 4 bits, okay, the required memory location can be accessed from particular block specified by the tag bits. Okay, so here to point all the blocks from main memory, okay, so tag bits are used. Okay, 12 tag bits, 2 power 12, that means 4095 blocks can be accessed, okay, with the help of these tag bits. Okay, see, memory address is divided into two fields. Lower order 4 bits used to identify the word within a block, and higher order 12 bits or tag bits used to identify the memory block. Okay, this mapping technique is flexible and uses cache space efficiently. Cost is higher than the direct mapped cache. Okay, so why we can say flexible? Any block from the main memory can be stored into any block of the cache memory. Here we can say main memory block can be placed into any cache position. Okay, so that's what we can say, this associative mapping is flexible. Okay, next, coming to the set associative mapping. Okay, so here main memory contains 4095 blocks. 0 to 4095 means 4096 blocks are existed. Okay, each block consists 16 memory locations. So 4095 into 16 memory locations is equal to 64 kilo memory locations are present in the main memory. Okay, let us see how mapping takes place between main memory and cache memory. Total main memory is divided into 64 groups. 64 groups. In direct mapping, entire memory divided into 32 groups. Okay, so in this case, set associative mapping, entire memory divided into 64 groups. Okay, each group is assigned with tag. Okay, so let us see. First group is assigned with tag 0. Next group is assigned with tag 1. Okay, next group assigned with tag 2 and so on. Okay, so total 64 tags are required to access all these 64 groups from main memory. Okay, so now here coming to the cache memory. Okay, cache memory can accommodate only 128 blocks. Okay, that is the fixed size in this example. Okay, so here cache can store 128 blocks. Okay, again cache divided into 64 sets. Okay, so each set consists 2 blocks. Here set 0 consists block 0, block 1. Set 1 contain block 2, block 3. Likewise, set 63 contain block 126 and 127. Okay, like that, this is the last set. Okay, this is the last set. Okay, so now, so it here set consists 2 blocks. That's what we can say. This is two-way set associative mapping. Okay, if this set consists 4 blocks, we can say 4-way set associative mapping. If this set like that and so on, if this set consists k blocks, then we can say k-way set associative mapping. Okay, so to access all these 64 groups from the main memory, okay, 6 tag bits are required. 2 power 6 equal to 64. Okay, now to access 64 sets in cache memory, okay, 6 set bits are required. Okay, to access 16 memory locations in particular or required block, okay, 4 bits are used. Okay, so before going to read any data from the cache, the required data is transferred from main memory to cache memory. Okay, now processor access the information from the cache memory with the help of main memory address bits. Okay, this entire address bits are divided into 3 fields. First field is the word field that contains 4 bits which are used to access any one of the memory location out of 16 memory locations from the required block. Now, set bits. These set bits are used to access the required set from the cache memory. And tag fields. In this case, block 0 should occupy set 0 of the cache memory. Block 0 of main memory should occupy set 0 of cache memory. And block 64 should occupy set 0 of the cache memory. Okay, likewise, next group. That block can occupy any one of the block 0 or block 1 space. Okay, any one of the set 0 blocks, that may be block 0 or block 1. So block 0 of main memory can occupy either of the block 0 or block 1 space of the set 0 of the cache memory. Okay, likewise in the from second group of the main memory blocks, 64 should occupy the set 0 of the cache memory. Okay, it can occupy either of the block 0 position or block 1 position of the set 0. Okay, next, likewise block 1 should be copied from the main memory to set 1 of the cache memory and can occupy any one of the block 2 or block 3 position of the cache memory. Okay, next, block 65 from the second group should occupy set 1 of the cache memory, can occupy either of the block 2 or block 3. Okay, next, block 129 should occupy set 1, okay, of the cache memory. Okay, likewise data from the main memory copied into cache memory. Okay, so that data can be accessed with the help of this main memory address bits. Okay, so here first 4 bits are used to access the required memory location from particular block, and 6 bits are these are the set bits. 2 power 6 equal to 64. Okay, so that's what 6 bits are required to access 64 sets from the cache memory. Next, tag bits are 6 bits. Okay, these 6 bits are used to identify the block belongs to which group from the main memory. Okay, here we are already assigned tags to the first group, second group. Okay, likewise 2 power 6 means 64 tags are required to assign each group. Okay, so to identify the group, here 6 tag bits are required. Okay, like that information can be accessed from the cache memory quickly than the main memory. Okay, set consists 2 blocks. That's what this is known as two-way set associative mapping. If the set consists 4 blocks, then that we can say 4-way set associative mapping. Okay, so now here 6-bit field determines the set number. Higher order 6-bit fields are compared to the 6-bit fields are compared to the tag fields of the 2 blocks in a set. Here we can say set associative mapping is the combination of direct and associative mapping. Okay, so this is how browser can access the data quickly from the cache memory than the main memory at the time of executing the required instructions repeatedly. Okay, so that the execution time of the processor may be reduced when you use cache memory. Okay, now finally execution time is reduced, then system performance can be improved with the help of this fast cache memory technique. Let us move on to the questionnaire slide. What is the use of cache memory? What is mean by read hit? What are the mapping functions? Okay, thank you. We will meet in next video.